following World War I was a period of economic growth and prosperity. This, however, did not last very long. After a peak in Wall Street stocks, the market crashed, causing an economic downfall.
As a result of the stock market crash, families were left jobless, homeless, and without much savings. This period of time, filled with inflation, poverty, and financial hardships, was known as the Great Depression. We chose to adapt Hamlet to the Great Depression, making Hamlet and his family appear as middle-class citizens.
Essentially, Claudius is the only one who has a job in this play, which is the driving factor behind many of the conflicts that you will see later. We also chose to display the entire video in black and white in order to better capture the feel of the 1930s era. In this act, we decided to film the exchange between Hamlet and his dead father's ghost. One of the biggest changes that we had to incorporate into the scene was the way in which Hamlet's father was killed. Although still being poisoned, we decided to include alcohol as a contributing factor to his death. During the Great Depression, many men often turned to drinking as a way to cope with their financial struggles. Oftentimes, this affected them both physically and emotionally. Prohibition even became a widespread issue during this time. As a result, we felt that this would be an effective way to cover up the death of Hamlet's father, given the practicality of the occurrence at this time.
Hamlet!
Who's there?
It is me, your father.
Father?
Yes, now pay attention to what I have to say.
I will.
Everyone in here believes I drank away my sorrows. In truth, I was poisoned by who now oversees the factory down the road.
By Jimmy, my uncle?
Yes, that cad, that scoundrel. Not only so, but he also seduced my wife with those evil words of his, causing her to fall for him. To think she would marry such a fool after being with me, one who loved her so dearly. Now allow me to be more clear. It was late at night when I felt the need for a drink. My disgusting habit had gotten the best of me, and I didn't think twice before taking a sip. Little did I know my brother, your uncle, had poisoned it. Within seconds, all my stress had faded away, and now I have come to you.
What should I do?
Don't let his power get the best of you, and whatever you plan, leave your mother out of it. Goodbye, my son, remember me.
Yes, whatever you want me to do. I'll wipe everything unimportant from my mind and make your words my only priority. I swear.
In scene 2, we started with Ophelia mending clothes. During the Great Depression, families didn't have enough money to be spending it on their own things to wear. Therefore, they would sew and knit their own garments. Ophelia also mentions that Hamlet barges in with ripped jeans and rugged clothes to display the type of clothes a poor worker would normally wear. When the scene switches to the office and Polonius explains why he's there, we changed Cornelius and Boltzmann to be portrayed as a woman. During the Great Depression, many women began to find work so that they too could support their families. They also accepted less pay, which offered a benefit to companies hiring them. The woman mentions Fortinbras, who wants some ownership of the company. Since the setting is in the 1930s, there aren't many kingdoms and territories, so we use this to represent Fortinbras wishing to take back the land his father lost in the play.
I can't believe what just happened.
What?
I was mending some clothes in my closet when Hamlet suddenly barged in. His rugged clothes and ripped jeans were smothered with dirt. He approached me shaking.
Why might that be? Does he love you?
I don't know. He might.
Well, what did he say?
He grabbed my wrist tightly and pulled me in, staring into my eyes for a while.
This is inappropriate. Love makes people act so wildly. We have to go to the factory and talk to Claudius.
Hello, Polonius. What brings you to my office?
The woman has a proposal regarding the company. Also, I think I know why Hamlet's crazy.
Tell me why.
But first, he had this woman out.
Let her in.
Hello.
Hello.
My boss, Fortinbras, is requesting co-ownership of the factory.
Thank you for the offer. I'll look over the deal later tonight, and we'll discuss further matters over dinner. Now, Polonius, what were you saying?
Sir, to make great speeches about what service is, or why day is day and night is night, is just a great waste of that day or that night. Therefore, since intelligence is not talking too much, I'll get straight to the point.
Yes, please get to it.
Doing nothing but sticking to the point. It's true, he's crazy, and it's a shame it's true, and it's truly a shame he's crazy, but now I sound foolish, so I'll get straight to the point. Now, if we agree that Hamlet is crazy, we need to find out the effect for this madness, or should I say, the cause for this behavior, because this mad behavior is caused by something. Hamlet is crazy because of his love for my daughter Ophelia. This is a letter that he handed her. That's exactly what needs to be done, so think about it.
Act 3, it starts with a scene where Claudius is praying for forgiveness after he's killed his brother. During his prayer in the play, he talks about forgiveness for his sins of killing Hamlet and marrying Gertrude. In our scene, we kept these things the same, but we incorporated the reasons for his murder and the impact it brought about. Hamlet almost stabs Claudius during this scene, but decides to wait for a better time. Instead of Hamlet using a dagger or knife for his murder, we incorporated a gun in order to fit the time period of the Great Depression better. At the end of the act, Gertrude and Hamlet are talking when Polonius is killed. This scene is kept the same because it was often that there were fights between two rivalries and one of them ended up dead.
My offense is so despicable. I feel more guilty than I ever anticipated. Can I ever be forgiven? Isn't that what your mercy is for? Prayer's purpose is to bring forgiveness. Dear Lord, forgive me for my horrible murder. Can I be forgiven and still enjoy the benefits gained? The company and my wife? The factory is suffering because of the crash, but I have a plan that will help it prosper. What can I do? What is there left to do? Oh, what a lousy situation I'm in.
Do it easily now. He's praying now, and now I'll do it. But then he'll go to heaven. Is it really revenge for me if I kill Claudius right when he's confessing his sins? A perfect access to heaven? The factory isn't in good condition, but he plans to make it better. I'll wait until it's thriving, and then I'll kill him. The factory will be mine in honor of my beloved father.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
Mother! Hamlet is coming. Quick, hide. Now, Mother, I need to talk with you about something. What was that?
I've been stabbed.
What have you done? You've done such a horrible thing. I thought it was Claudius. Anyhow, Polonius deserved it. That fool, always spying. I can take it from here. The fourth act is when Claudius and Laertes plan how they will kill Hamlet. Since sword matches were not as common during the Great Depression, we chose to let Hamlet and Laertes fight in a boxing match. Boxing matches and other sporting events were very common back then because they were a cheap form of entertainment that families could enjoy together. The second part of the scene involves Gertrude telling Laertes that Ophelia has died. Since everyone was desperate for food at this time, it was already extremely difficult to get your hands on it. People also had to worry about making sure that the food was safe to eat. Because Polonius had also just passed away days before this, Ophelia was still very shaken, and she was not acting as her usual self. While in this state, she carelessly ate a piece of contaminated bread, and this made Laertes even more furious with Hamlet.
Hamlet must pay for what he has done and experience the consequences of his actions. I have a plan, but I need to know if you are serious about avenging your father. What will you do in order to make everything right?
I will do anything to make sure that my father's death was not for nothing and that Hamlet will be punished for his actions.
Good. I just received word that Hamlet will soon be returning from his voyages, and it will be the perfect time for us to carry out our plan.
I'm ready to kill Hamlet, although how are we going to do it without making it look suspicious?
Since you're a praise boxer, we are going to hype you up and hold a boxing match. You'll get a pair of poison gloves so that when you punch him, he's knocked out. The wager that is going to be put in place will ensure that Hamlet fights and makes the competition seem real. It will be a fight to the death.
How do you know Hamlet will actually show up?
He's very competitive, and after he hears about your skills in boxing, he will want to challenge himself by fighting you.
What if I can't knock him out?
If that happens, then I'll make a toast to him with a poison cup in which he will take a sip and fall dead.
It seems as though when one person dies, many people follow. Your sister has died of an accidental contamination, Laertes.
What do you mean?
Have been especially low, and she's grown very weak. For the past few days, as you know, we all have been scavenging for food. Your sister made the mistake of eating a contaminated piece of bread, and she was found dead in her bed this morning. The loss of her father clouded her judgment and made her act carelessly.
My sweet sister Ophelia, I'm so distraught and I weep for her death. In this scene, rather than fencing, Hamlet and Laertes perform boxing, which was a popular sport during the Great Depression. As mentioned several times earlier, people at this time had little to no money. As a result, they were often forced to create their own entertainment. Essentially, these events allowed people to take their minds off of the unfortunate circumstances of the time and focus on a certain type of fun instead. Popular activities at the time mainly revolved around sports, cheap movies, or listening to the radio. Therefore, rather than switching swords like in the story, Laertes punches Hamlet with a poison-covered glove. However, the plan then backfires as Laertes' glove bounces off of Hamlet and hits him in his own face. In the end, they both end up tragically dead, along with Claudius and Gertrude.
Hamlet, please come forward. Laertes, please come forward.
Let me apologize, Laertes. I have wronged you. Do you forgive me? Forgive me, for I am mad.
I'm satisfied, but my honor requires revenge.
Here are your gloves. Both of you, please shake hands. All right, now let's have a clean fight. Both of you touch hands and get to your corners.
Come on!
Let's go!
Wow, Hamlet, here's a drink to celebrate.
I'm okay. Let's do one more round. To Hamlet!
No! It's too late. It was the poison cup.
Come for the third round, Laertes. I do hope you do better.
What did you just say to me? Come here! I've got him with the poisoned glove. Poisoned by my own glove.
My mother has fallen! Lock the doors. Find out who is responsible for this.
You will die too, Hamlet. It's all Claudius' fault.
Poison? You fool. Drink this.
Hamlet, please forgive me.
You are forgiven, Laertes. But Horatio, I am dying. Please tell this story. What is that noise?
It is Fortinbras. He has come for his company.
Oh, Horatio, Fortinbras has my vote. Oh, goodbye.
Happened here. Death has overtaken everyone. What a horrid sight. But now I can take my share in the company.
Forget that. Hamlet has given you his word. The factory is yours.
Who knew one day could be filled with so much sorrow, with such good fortune? The company will be in good hands.
I hope so.
Well, the Great Depression was a time of many struggles. Throughout our adaptation, we tried to incorporate the ears motif metaphorically through the representation of society's misperceived notions.
In particular, when Hamlet's father mentioned how everyone believed he drank himself to death, as opposed to in reality in which he was poisoned by Claudius.
Furthermore, the theme presented in this adaptation was the inability to act. If you look at how Hamlet approached the situation, you will see that Hamlet is hesitant to kill Claudius.
Had he just taken action initially, no further conflict or tragedy would have occurred.
Something to say to you, face.
Come take.
Wait.
Suddenly barged in. His rugged claw, poisoned by my own knife.
Laertes planned to.
In this act, we decided to film the exchange. Is it going?
Yeah.
All right.
The period. Oh.